I said, yeah, and these ain't fake. Slap your mama with these. Okay, y'all, good morning. Saturday morning, man. Saturday morning, it's 55 degrees. Beautiful looking morning. The sun is out and beaming, and yeah. So let me, yeah. I'm going over here to do this stump grinding. Well, it's grading, stump grinding, brush cutting. It's a little bit of everything over there. I'm rolling the dice on it being at least a 2 or 3 day job, if not longer than that. A lot of times when you do the bigger stuff, you know, the customer's spending, and you know, $1,400 is $1,400, and you know, it's a significant amount of money for somebody to come out and work for a day. And when people hire you to do stuff like what I'm going to be doing, you got to be able to do a lot of different stuff, right? If you can't, like, you know, if you don't own a stump grinder, you're not going to get this job. If you own a stump grinder, don't own a brush cutter, you're probably not going to get this job. You got to be able to do a lot of different stuff, you know, in order to get a job like this one. And at the end of the day, I asked myself, oh, is $1,400, is that not enough to bring multiple attachments? Because if you went and rented everything that I got, you're gonna be at more than $1,400 a day. I know there are guys that say they can rent a skid steer for $200 a day. In my area, you can't rent a skid steer for $200 a day and have it at the job and everything. Especially one like mine, especially one that can push, you know, a stump grinder and all that. What else I got? I'm gonna try to get some good video over there. He doesn't mind me setting the cameras up because he saw my videos is what made him call me. So, yeah. But when you start getting up there in money as far as what you're charging the customer, and I know that $1,400 is a good deal for him, but the homeowners, they don't know that until they see a day of it, right? And then they see how much you got done in a day, and then they're like, oh, okay, well worth it. And it is well worth it because I can do a lot. So I told him I'd be over there right around 9. It's 8:30 now. I'm gonna be a little bit early, but you know, the machine's full. I got 5 gallons of diesel in a can. Brakes on this truck next week. I can feel them starting, like I said, I think I mentioned it the other day. I can start to feel them kind of acting a little bit funny. They ain't scrubbing yet, but I don't think they're far from it. So we're gonna put the trailer brakes up a little higher than normal, just to help me out a little bit. Yeah. So a couple things. So I appreciate all the comments on the video yesterday, and you know that guy that did the 6 acres up there, he blocked me from his channel. So yeah, he doesn't want to hear the truth. He doesn't want to hear, you know, and I'm not. And a lot of guys come at me and say, well, Ray, you're the same way. You ain't trying to hear nothing from nobody. But that's not true. I'm not trying to hear nothing from nobody that ain't showing nothing. There's a huge difference there. If you are showing things like, you know, for instance, I got a lot of experience with big cuts. I mean, I'm not saying that. I got receipts, man. I mean, they're all over my channel. I think maybe what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a retro video together, a clip, maybe 10-minute clip of all the damn big cuts I've done. And I've done a lot of them, man. Regular for years, you know. I had one I did every 2 weeks for years. It was, what was it, 17 acres, I think. So, yeah, so it's apparent that the dude doesn't really want to, he doesn't want to hear how how green he is, or he doesn't want to hear any good, you know, I don't want to say advice, but just different ways to do stuff. Not from somebody that ain't showing nothing, Jim. No, not from somebody that's talking, but from somebody that's actually showing videos of big cuts, showing videos damn near daily of the grind out here. That's the kind of people that I'd want to listen to, that really, well, that are really out here in the grind, man. You know, that does videos, that doesn't live on the YouTube money, that counts on this money out here to pay the bills. And showing. I mean, the biggest thing is when somebody gives me advice or whatever, or instruction or whatever, the first thing I do is, okay, are they qualified to give me advice? I have to ask that. And if I'm that guy up there, that's the same thing. Is he qualified to give me advice? And the only way to really know that in the social media world that we live in, I mean, is, okay, what does he do? What does he do? Whoever's giving me advice, what does he do? Is he a plumber trying to give me lawn maintenance advice? You know, is he, you know, is he working in a warehouse trying to give me advice? Is he sitting at home on daddy's couch, you know, trying to give me advice without showing anything? See, one thing about my channel is I show everything. And it's documented, everything. I said everything's documented, man. You know, I look back at some of my videos over the years, and I'm damn near amazed at some of the stuff I done got myself into. And it's all documented. So me giving this kid advice is not the same as the guys that have come in my comments over the years trying to give me advice, because the ones that are trying to give me advice that I snap back at are the ones that ain't doing nothing, that ain't about nothing, that ain't showing nothing. If you're not showing nothing, then you're just another voice in the damn comments if you're giving advice. Well, I'm actually trying to give him helpful advice, especially if he's going to be cutting that big 6-acre cut that he cut yesterday. I kind of tend to think, and you know, you never know, that the owner over there is probably not going to have him back over there, because the owner over there has probably had to pay somebody to cut it before, and he probably saw the struggle that dude was having with it, you know. Of course, the dude, he doesn't see it like that because he doesn't know anything. So he's just, yeah, that. So at the end of the day, I wish dude well, but you know, he's gonna have to learn. And he's already blocked me, and I hadn't even really, you know. So if he's gonna block people every, I mean, he's got, I don't know how many subscribers he's got, but if he's got, you know, 500 subscribers and he's already blocking people, that's not very smart. You know, he's not nearly as smart as he thinks he is. And I'm not talking about just in the lawn maintenance. I'm just talking about in general. He thinks he's really, really a smart guy. But he reminds me of another guy that I know that ain't in business no more. So, but if I'm trying to give you advice on you know, the method of cutting a big property, you know, especially after I don't know, but all of us guys that got a lot of experience are trying to, you know, I don't know, man, if you guys think the same as me. I think Randall does, and I think Irv does, and I ain't heard Chaz's take on everything, but I'm sure that, you know, that Chaz's gonna be in the same wheelhouse as us guys that's got some experience out here. And not that we're better than the dude or anything. It's the way, I don't know, man. It's the way he comes off, you know, that it's just disrespectful, it seems to me. And I'm big on respect, you know, I really am, especially, well, just in life, man. You can't minimize things that you know nothing about, and it makes you look, and I say it all the time to the commenters, the haters that come in my comments, it makes you look dumb because you don't know anything, and you don't even know how are you going to down something or make law of something that you don't even know nothing about. And you're not just saying that, you're showing that you don't know nothing about it. But he blocked me, so I was gonna try to make him famous, but I guess he don't want to be famous, huh? No, he don't want to hear no real G schooling him, because he's not the type, not a G that says he's a G, not somebody that that talks about being a G. I'm talking about somebody that's showing you he's a G. Yeah. I would take it. I would at least listen and not, you know, disregard that, especially on stuff like that, where that big cut, you're not going to make money on that big cut with that mower, dude. I mean, you're not, and it doesn't look like, and I might be all wrong. It doesn't look like you have the capacity to pull 2 mowers. So, I mean, but don't worry, you're probably not going to go back to that 6-acre cut, because that owner there has probably hired it out plenty of times before, and that owner there probably saw or knows, you know, saw the struggle that you were having with it. He's probably had guys come over there with 3 lawnmowers and do that shit in an hour and a half. I'm just saying, you got to look at the experience of the customer too. So, but I couldn't believe the way that he was cutting that thick grass, man, with that mower. And then he'd do like half lines and all that. I'm like, he'd go up and be right in the middle of thick grass and go right up, and then you'd see him stop and then turn around, and he can keep, you know, the mowers, these commercial mowers, they're made to go forward. Now, a Scag mower don't do good in reverse no matter what, but the more turns you have, the less damn efficient you are. That's just my take on any mower. The more you can go forward, the more efficient you are. Oh, right, that ain't that big of a deal. It don't make that big of a difference, but it does. I'm telling you, it does. Especially when you're cutting big stuff, you need to run the longest lines you possibly can. You know, when I do stuff like what he was cutting, especially if it's a homeowner's house, then first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get all around the house first. I'm going to get away from the house as soon as I can, ASAP. And then once I get away from the house, then I'll start, you know, but I'll have a plan the whole time. But that didn't just formulate in my head. That took years of well, not knowing. You know, I had to fumble around a little bit, break a few mowers, break a few belts, you know, overheat a couple of mowers along the way. I mean, you know, and that little Scag, I'm not downgrading the Scag. Somebody came in the comments and said it was a 26 horsepower. Okay, well, that's a little bit more horsepower than I thought, but at the end of the day, it still ain't enough to make money at that. Now, if that was my mawmaw's grass or something, it'd be different, you know. But you're trying to cut grass for money. You know. So I'm gonna try to get. So I'm headed over here. I'm gonna try to get some video of all this work over here, and I'll do a quick intro clip when I get here. The GoPro's acting stupid, man. I'm fixing to. I know I've been saying for a year I'm gonna get rid of the GoPro, but it takes such good footage when it does work right. But it doesn't seem like it won't work right all the time. Okay, guys. So I just got over here. I got the wireless mic on. I'm hoping that I can use it some today. He's got one little stump here, and it ain't little, but it's in the front. And he's already paid me the money, man. I got the cash money in my pocket already, and I just pulled up here 20 minutes ago. First thing he did is come right out here and pay me. I love that. That shows respect. You know, even though it's not a requirement, you know, and making me have to come back and all that to get money is just. So this is the job here. Y'all see this whole area here? Everything. So I want to try to do things in an orderly way where I don't get lost in the mix here. So you got a lot of stumps over in here, and you got a lot of unseen stuff right here. You can't really see. There's going to be some stuff in here, so a part of me wants to put a bucket on and drag it, right? But I don't know. So you got you got little stobs like that. You got to get everything. We knock that down. I just kind of want to walk through here and look. I did the other day when me and him looked at the job. You see, you got them. I just stepped on something right there. You got them right here, right here, right here, right here. And there's a lot of pieces where the tree company came in here and they took down a bunch of trees for like $8,000. And then they ground the stumps up. They gave him a deal, but they didn't get all the stumps hardcore. So there's a lot in here that I'm probably gonna run into. Part of me wants to put a bucket on right now, but I'm gonna go in and grind the stuff I know I can't move with a bucket. You know, stuff like this right here, you don't wanna miss this kind of thing because the homeowner catch hell getting that out, right? You don't wanna leave them, if you're charging, you don't wanna leave them with anything. See, I might be able to dig that one out, but it ain't worthy of me putting the bucket on just for that. And you can see where water drains down through here. You got one right there, you got one right there, you got one right there, and then they're all in here. And of course you got ones like this in here. This burn pile, we're gonna move it. I'll talk to him about exactly where, and then, you know, we got some, I mean, I'm gonna be spending pretty much the day over here just grinding stumps. We're probably not even gonna get to a lot of grading today. I put the grapple bucket on and move all this stuff. And I don't know, we're gonna have a burn pile, and then you got some stuff on the side over there too. I wanna try to find a good place to put y'all where I'm not gonna be fooling with y'all the whole day. Just where the camera can just run. So, until the SD card fills up. So, yeah. For real. All right, y'all, so y'all kind of see where I'm at over here. We're moving right along. I'm gonna try to get more footage, but you see all this mound right here? I know there's pieces of stump in here, but I'm gonna probably spend another hour or so with the grinder on here. And then I'm gonna probably put the grapple bucket on real quick, or a bucket, and pick all this up and put it on this pile. So, and then, and pull that branch down too. The machine is running like no other. I mean, this machine is just, dude, it's just awesome, man. You know, having a new machine is just everything. So, yeah. All right, y'all. So we're gonna get this one, obviously. And there's a lot of stuff like this. Look, see, you can't grade that with all this. Look at that big old sweet gum root. And this is a whole stump right here. See, these guys that come out here and do the trees and they offer you such a good deal, they're gonna do the stumps too. What they do is they end up using the chips to hide the stumps. You know, I mean, I've seen that so much since I've had this stump grinder. So yeah, y'all. Now I'm gonna move these attachments out of the way. So let's go on and get a little bit of video of this one right here. And yeah. Y'all, so that's what 1400 will get you. You know, it's I worked a little bit longer than I supposed to, but it's okay. I'm going to be back over here next weekend and probably the weekend after that, so it's going to turn into about a $4,000 job. Well, 3 times 1400, so 4,200, so that'll be pretty good. All right, y'all, deuces. All right, man, all right. So y'all saw that job. Yeah, and he's super duper happy, so happy in fact that he promised me 2 more days over here. So yeah, I said yeah, and these ain't fake. Slap your mama with these.